In Boris Johnson's ideal scenario, this conference would be a belated opportunity for him to enjoy a victory lap for his election success. But reality threatens to intervene. A cost of living crisis looms. The party is likely to want to tackle him about his recent manifesto-busting tax rise, and party members from the traditional Tory shires are likely to challenge him over what they see as his overemphasis on the red wall. Boris Johnson will want this Conservative Party conference to be the victory lap for his stunning 2019 election performance that he never got the chance to perform last year due to the pandemic. He's beloved by the party faithful, and he will be wanting to bask in the reflected glow of the glory of that election triumph. In many ways, the Prime Minister's looked as though he's in a position of strength in recent weeks. He managed to push through 2 election manifesto-busting pledges in the same day, one of which was suspending the pensions triple lock, which could potentially go down badly with a Conservative audience, many of whom are older voters. As for the national insurance contribution rise, Boris Johnson managed to see off bristling of discontent in the party, facing down a potential revolt that was curbed to only 5 of his MPs voting against it in the end. On top of that, we saw the Prime Minister carry off a reshuffle that in the end went incredibly smoothly as far as reshuffles go. It didn't unravel in the way that we've seen past reshuffles potentially become derailed when big beasts refuse to go to the places or to the backbenches. However, there is some danger ahead for him at conference as a result of the reshuffle. For a start, we saw 14 extra people leave the government and head to the backbenches. They may now feel unconstrained to criticise the Prime Minister and his programme for government. We may hear some of those former cabinet ministers and ministers speaking up at various fringe events over the course of the 5-day meeting in Manchester.
Are you the Messiah or just a very naughty boy?
The Prime Minister's shown he really has a very strong grip over the parliamentary party. However, he enters the party conference at a pretty tricky time. We've seen the fuel crisis really start to bite. We know that furlough is ending, VAT reliefs for businesses are set to end, meaning huge hikes to the cost of doing business. On top of that, the £20 a week uplift to the universal credit benefit is set to end at just the point at which energy prices are poised to soar by £139. So overall, the Prime Minister is facing a really tricky run-up to Christmas. Boris Johnson has made much noise about trying to level up the North and Midlands. I think as well as speaking to the party faithful this week, there will be an expectation for him to spell out more what the policy of that may look like in coming months. But we may also hear from some of the traditional Tory voters in the more prosperous South and South East in the coming days about the lack of attention on them so far in this Conservative government. That will be really put to the test at party conference when we see whether the grassroots are just as malleable as MPs have shown themselves to be in recent weeks. There has been some suggestion that local association chairmen, councillors and other senior figures in the grassroots party are really unhappy about the direction in which the Conservatives are going, essentially becoming a high-tax, high-spend party.
I am confident that our economic plan is supporting the finances of millions of people and businesses.
Another key item on the government's agenda for this autumn is the budget and the 3-year departmental spending review that the Chancellor is conducting. While departments have already submitted their formal bids for funding, this will be a chance for ministers to peacock on the stage and make the case publicly for why they should be given extra funds. Money is requested to help with the education catch-up, help solve the courts backlog, and all sorts of other problems like the black hole in the railways funding. On top of that, the government's green agenda as we head towards the COP26 summit in Glasgow in November also requires funding to underpin the government's commitment to the climate change agenda. There isn't much money to go around, so this is going to be a very tight spending round for the Chancellor. For now, the Conservatives enjoy a healthy margin over Labour in the polls, but the Prime Minister will be acutely aware that Sir Keir Starmer has used his own party conference to change some of the rules to curb the influence of the left and came out of the Labour conference stronger after a landmark speech that seemed to land well with the public.